Hey, how's it going, anime and manga fans? This is yours truly, Anime and Vibes, and I'm gonna touch on a subject that we all know about, and that is racism/colorism in the anime community. And it's the most toxic side of the anime community. The first case, well, it's not even the first case. The first really most recent case is what happened with Don't Told Me Miss Nagatoro, and then we had the Spy Family incident, where a fan made the character darker skin with more coarse curly hair. And of course, you know, anime fans that don't like to see that, they lost their mind. It's always the racist one. And then they'll use the excuse, oh, well, they're actually tan. Well, there's no such thing as a tan skin tone. You can tan, but that's not really your natural tone. You know, because that's the case. There's a lot of tan people walking around. I would be tan at that case. But we're going to jump into that, touch on these two subjects. Make sure you stay tuned, hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to leave a comment down in the comment section because your feedback is always highly appreciated. And share this video because this is a subject that needs to be talked on a lot, and a lot of people need to get out their feelings. And without further ado, let's jump into this.
Life is good. You know what I mean? Like,
雷の呼吸一の型霹靂一閃
Yo, so if you haven't seen this, it happened back in January, and I think Forever World talked about this, and he keeps me up to date on a lot of things, so shout out to Forever World. But yeah, back in January, when the voice actor for Don't Told Me Miss Nagatoro was announced that it was a dark-skinned Black American woman, yeah, a lot of the racist anime fans, of course, couldn't contain themselves. And you know what's interesting? A lot of them end up having display names that say like Tupac something or something of a Black American artist, and it's like, if you don't like Black American people, why do you have like icons in your name? That doesn't make sense to me at all, but hey, it is what it is. And it reminds me of that time, that Facebook group, and if you have Facebook, you know exactly which group I'm talking about. It was the most toxic anime group on Facebook in history, and they got shut down like 2 years ago. But for the longest, man, like, it was crazy, the amount of colorism and racism that was in there. It was just wild. It was because a lot of racist white people, they see it as anything that makes them feel insecure or encroaches on them not being the center of attention, they lose their minds. And at this point, man, it's kind of like, yo, y'all gonna have to get used to that because it's not going anywhere, like, not at all. And some of these accounts that I have up, they have been deleted. And you just saw another account that just said, Twitter will ban me for what I really want to say. Yeah, because these people will say some of the most the harshest racist thing that you could think of, and then be like, well, I select anime, and if you don't like it, you can leave. Like, no, that's not how this all works. Also, if you don't know, Kimberly Ann Campbell is also the voice of Dawn on Pokemon Masters, which I didn't find that out till yesterday when I was going back to looking at some of these tweets, because I was like, yeah, people need to see this. But then, of course, among the anime community, you have decent human beings that will call this out, and I love that because that's what it's about. It's about unity and sticking together, because this has no place in the anime community. Yes, in the past, anime has had blackface instances. For prime example, Mr. Popo and Jinx, and we all know that. But as you can see, Japan realizes that, hey, some of our fan base are Black Americans, or FBA, which means Foundational Black American, for those who do not know, and it's a distinct ethnic group. And they realize, hey, these are mostly our fans now, so we might want to cater to them. In which Japan has been doing a lot better in the recent years, from Afro Samurai, Black Lagoon, Michin Hachan, even Pokemon has come a long way too, with more representation of darker skinned Black people. I know some people be like, oh, well, there are lighter skinned people in there. Yes, we know that. We always get representation. But those of darker skin, they do not. And it made me happy to see that a lot of people were giving this backlash, because they were like, yo, this has no place in the anime community. And then calling out people who were contradicting themselves, because as you just saw the other tweet, when he said, hey, who cares about culture when you have anime tits in your face? Like, the level of loserville you have to be in to even think like that is astronomical. And it's a lot of weebs. And if you never looked at the term weeb, you might want to do that. But in case that you don't, I've already looked it up for you. And a weeb is someone who really wants to be Japanese. And a lot of racist anime fans and colorist ones, they really believe that they are Japanese. Like, they believe that the culture belongs to them, especially the racist white ones. I'm not saying nothing that we don't already know. Yet they really thought the culture is theirs and that they have a lock on it, and anything they say should be loud and how they feel should be loud, which is not correct at all. And it's kind of disgusting. Well, it's not kind of, it's hella disgusting. And the amount of tweets that I did see that were calling this out, they were saying, hey, if black people want to be voice actors, let them, and we should embrace it. That kind of warmed my heart, because it shows that you have people who will use their whiteness to call out the racism and colorism that is in the anime community, and I love that. Shout out to those people, much respect. And then we have the whole tan thing. People be like, oh, they're not black, they're tan. Let's be honest, a lot of us aren't really black in skin tone, but we're still classified as black, and there's a whole history behind that, but this page isn't for that, so if you want to know the history on it, look it up yourself. But yeah, even those of us that are tan like her, like beige, that's the proper tone for it, beige, we're still black. So I don't understand why people still think that. Okay, I lied. I do understand. It's a cop-out because that's their way of not accepting them as being a dark-skinned black person. They'll accept the ones of us that are lighter skin or a lighter skin character, and they'll just say they're tan. Well, the artist has never officially said that that's a tan, like with Nico Robin from One Piece, which a lot of us are still trying to figure out how she went from being dark-skinned to light-skinned, but we didn't really complain about it. We just accepted it, and then we're like, well, I guess she had a tan or whatever. But it's never really been stated. Oda never talked about that, ever. And I might do a video on that later. But yeah, so if it's not an instance like Nico Robin, then that's not a 10. Because trust and believe, if an anime creator wants to let you know that someone isn't a white American, they're gonna let you know. Like with All Might, they made that very clear. He's from America, his colors and everything, the red, blue stripes, the stars. Yeah, they'll let you know. And my first time realizing this was with Bandit Keith. And if you remember Bandit Keith, he was pretty much wilding out the whole time on the island with Yugi and his friends. And then it got so bad over the card game, he pulled a gun out on Pegasus. Like, I'm never gonna forget that. All over a card game. So yeah, they pretty much stole a lot of shit out of America, and people don't get upset at that. But the minute you make a voice actor black, or a character that's black, or considered black, quote unquote, by American standards, oh, they'll throw a fit. And this picture right here, it's been on my phone for a while. I don't know the name of the anime. If you know it, drop the name. But nobody complained about this, but the minute a voice actor was a black woman or something, oh, they lose their minds about that. They cannot take someone being darker than them, having a lead role, or being represented in any way. And at this point, it's getting pretty tiring. It's like, just accept for what it is. No, you're not going to change that there are going to be more darker skinned people in anime. And speaking of that, there was a controversy with this Spy Family anime. Not so much the anime itself, but the character. And the character is Anya. Anya's original look is on the right, and her darker skinned counterpart from another universe is on the left. That's how I see it when people redraw characters. It's like a what if, kind of like with Superman and Superman 23. You have a light-skinned universe. Superman, and then you have a dark-skinned Superman. You know, same concept. I don't know why people make such a big deal out of this. Okay, I lied. I do know why they make such a big deal out of this. It's because they feel inferior. They feel that they're being replaced, and that the image that they always have of themselves being portrayed in animes is being replaced by darker skinned people. So of course they have to project that insecurity online, and they have to resort to name calling. And since they can't beat us any other way, name calling is all they can do. And it shows every single time. Even Goku said that to Frieza on Namek. When Frieza continued to call the Saiyans monkeys, Goku said, clear as day, I don't know why you call Saiyans by such mindless names. It only shows your ignorance and fear, because you can't beat me any other way. And not a day doesn't go by that I don't think about that quote, because it all makes sense. Every time I think about that quote, every time I see racism from the anime community or colorism, it goes right back to that quote. Like, and people say anime doesn't teach you life lessons. They surely lie, because there are plenty of animes that teach life lessons, especially on racism. One Piece, DBZ, and countless others. Oh, Full Metal Alchemist, the list goes on. And then they try to say it was blackface. There's no such thing as blackface, and don't let people try to, promote that, because it doesn't exist. There's no history of anyone ever, not blackface, sorry, blackwashing. There's no such thing as blackwashing. And blackface has a history of dehumanizing dark-skinned people. None of this was dehumanizing the character at all. As I said earlier, it's just projection of ignorance and fear. And it's pretty sad to see people still feel that way. Like, if you knew what was going on in the world, which I'm not going to do that here, but if you knew what was going on in the world, you wouldn't really think like that. But, when people don't really educate themselves, that's what happens. They don't live a vibe life. They live a very fearful and ignorant life, And I can't imagine living like that, honestly. Imagine waking up every day with hatred just because of someone's skin tone. Like, that makes you feel inferior, that you have to dehumanize them to make yourself feel better. That's pretty inferior. And then you had this person who said, hey, I fixed it. And they made it look even, oh my gosh, 20 times worse than the redrawing. But I still like the redrawing. It just gets tiring and boring, as I said. And if you still have that mindset, you're a loser. That's all we can say. You're a straight loser. And the rest of us, we're going to just keep enjoying, drinking, having good vibes. And we're going to laugh and have a good time at your ignorance. Getting your accounts banned, reporting your comments, because it has no life in the anime community. There's no need for such hatred. If you hate, having darker skinned people around that much in your anime, make your own. Or better yet, just leave. We don't want you here. But with that being said, that ends this episode that I just want to talk on the anime community's colorism and racism. And I hope everyone's having a good day. Enjoy yourselves. Be mindful. Be peaceful. Love each other. Be courteous. And remember, anime and vibes are life. And vibes are of anime. And with that being said, know oneself. Anime and vibes out. Be safe. Take care.